Thank you to the ranking member. I now recognize the chairman of the full committee, Mr. Westerman, for his opening statement.
Thank you, Chairman Tiffany, and thank you, Chief Schultz, for being here today to discuss the state of our nation's federal forest. You know, it's always comforting to have another forester in the room, and I know that you certainly have your work cut out for you as you address the issues that we face, but also know that your background and your commitment to responsible land management and conservation are what I think we need at this time to make sure that our forests are healthier going forward. You know, the topic of today's hearing is the state of our nation's federal forest, and frankly, it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that our federal forests are in dire condition. I don't think anybody would really argue with that. There are over 117 million acres of federal land at high or very high risk of wildfires, representing nearly 1/5 of the land overseen by our federal land management agencies. We've been confronted with the sobering reality of this wildfire and forest health crisis head-on this year as we watched the city of Los Angeles go up in flames in January. Too often we measure the wildfire crisis in acres burned, but this year is a tragic reminder that the cost of wildfire goes far beyond mere statistics. Entire towns with homes, schools, churches, grocery stores, parks, and more are reduced to rubble. Some of the smoke plumes from these megafires look like a nuclear bomb has gone off. Everyday citizens and wildland firefighters are getting put into harm's way, and tragically, many have passed away. Lahaina, Paradise, Los Angeles, every year we're watching more and more communities burn to the ground, and we're doing nothing about it. That's to say nothing of the wildlife habitat getting turned into moonscapes, millions of metric tons of carbon getting released into the atmosphere, and degraded water quality. Families who have saved up and look forward to vacationing in parks like Yosemite would be met this week not with stunning views of Half Dome, but with smoke-filled haze. You know and I know that we can do better than this, and that we have to do better than this. We don't have to accept the reality that our federal forests are nothing more than ticking time bombs waiting to explode whenever it's hotter or drier than normal. We can't prevent a tornado or a hurricane, but we can prevent a wildfire. Fortunately, there is growing bipartisan consensus backed by science that we need to rapidly increase the pace and scale of forest management activities to improve the health of our nation's forests, reduce catastrophic wildfires, and protect communities. I believe we have the bill just to do that. The Fix Our Forest Act is a comprehensive bipartisan forestry package that will provide our agencies with critical tools to implement the most vital forest management projects, and to do that immediately. This legislation, which is a product of years of hard work and collaboration, will expedite environmental analysis, facilitate better state, tribal, and local collaboration, and advance new innovative wildfire technologies. The Fix Our Forest Act, as you know, has already passed out of the House with strong bipartisan support and is working its way through the Senate. It's critically important that we get this legislation passed. I'm also looking forward to working in a bipartisan and bicameral basis and with the Trump administration to pass legislation reauthorizing the Great American Outdoors Act. Just a few days ago, the committee traveled to Grand Teton National Park to hold an oversight hearing on the Great American Outdoors Act. Now, I will say that's a beautiful place, but at times you couldn't even see the Grand Tetons because of smoke that had settled in over the valley there. While that hearing focused on our parks, we know that more Americans than ever are choosing to recreate on our national forests. Investments made by GOA are critical to giving our national forests the recreational infrastructure investments needed to welcome millions of visitors for America's 250th birthday celebrations next year. In anticipation of America's 250th anniversary, it's also critically important that the Forest Service fully implements the Explore Act, which is bipartisan recreation that passed both the House and the Senate unanimously. Folks in my district love to hunt, fish, hike, bike, camp, and float on our public lands and waters, and the Explore Act helps open up these recreation opportunities. I look forward to working with your agency on the implementation of Explore, particularly provisions restoring overnight camping in the Ouachita National Forest. Finally, I'd like to commend you and Secretary Rollins and President Trump for refocusing our land managers on their core multiple-use mandates. There have been 2 forestry-related executive orders issued so far to increase timber targets, address regulatory delays, confront bureaucratic blockades, support local collaboration, encourage the use of innovative technology. Now, you and I know that to manage our forest responsibly for forest health and resiliency, that we have to have strong markets. Just yesterday, the Wall Street Journal published an article talking about the low lumber prices and the weak lumber markets, and I'm seeing it in my district where mills are closing, and they're closing across the country. We've got to do something to get stronger markets, both for saw logs and for residual materials. And I know with the Forest Products Lab and your work that hopefully we will be working on issues that can better not only the housing market, but also those markets for residuals. The biggest thing I think facing home buyers right now are high prices created by inflation from spending in the previous administration, as well as high interest rates that are a result of high inflation. So we got a lot of work to do in that area. Again, look forward to your testimony and to the questions that follow. Mr. Chairman, I yield back.